Speaker, 50 years ago, educators debated whether calculators had a place in classrooms. And now every eighth grader learns how to use a graphic calculator to solve complex math problems. Today, the debate is whether an AI has a place in class like a calculator. AI models, ChatGPT, are already essential in college and workplaces, and our lives are unimaginable without the AI algorithms that dictate what we see on YouTube or the facial recognition software on every phone. Four-pronged model from proposition. Firstly, we will A, teach how to use basic AI models to complement daily tasks and subjects. B, provide selective courses for students who want to use AI in a vocational capacity. C, place professional instructors across schools, and D, regularly train teachers to apply AI in classes. Now, two arguments as PM. First, the necessity of AI literacy, and second, the motion promotes ethical use of AI. Move on to my first argument about necessity. What should we teach in school? School should prepare students for their future after graduation, and that's why curricula constantly change to adapt to society's future demands. If schools don't adapt, students won't adapt either. Already, everything from drafting emails to using TV increasingly relies on AI. Today's students will enter a society where almost nothing gets done without the help of AI, because in the future, AI is the new computer and the new internet. Integrating AI into school then is a natural extension of what educational institutions information. It's imperative that we teach AI at school because it's when they can fully understand and maximize its potential, like how children can acquire foreign languages easily compared to adults. Two impacts here. Firstly, AI will reshape industries and create new jobs while rendering others obsolete, right? So AI education prepares students for the jobs of the future, and furthermore, it could be learning about programming or how to apply AI in other fields and maximize productivity because it takes in information and data. We want students to be the next open AI software engineer or the architect that actually designs safer buildings through AI modeling. So we said that AI model is much more beneficial. I'll take that a bit later. Second, we foster a critical understanding of AI that empowers students to question and evaluate information generated by AI systems. In the era of misinformation and fake news, discerning critical sources and manipulated data is crucial, right? Teaching AI equips students with the tools to navigate the digital landscape responsibly and logically, which also addresses the concerns of wrong info from ChatGPT. I'll be taking your POI now.
Don't you think that because AI is a trend that arrives really fast, it will also sweep away really fast, and it's not right to just change the entire educational curriculum just because of a simple trend?
Okay, but then it's very beneficial for a future. And what is school's role? As I already mentioned, it's for students to learn about the future and to benefit from it. And also, we're not going to be only teaching AI. We're also going to be teaching them how to use AI for like other work. So, moving on to my second argument, how about we promote ethical usage of AI? 3 points of analysis here. Firstly, in the status quo, early adapters to AI already use it to cheat, right? There are no guidelines on appropriate context for AI usage. Instead, schools simply put a blanket ban on AI, which is like counterproductive in an era where digital literacy is fundamental. In the future, you're going to be working in like AI related jobs where you use it for research, where you use it for like writing or etc. So this absence of a clear standard, it makes students unaware as to where the line is. Secondly, instead of vilifying AI, educators will now teach students about the principles of digital ethics and intellectual integrity. How will this work? Even amongst faculty, there will be discourse on ethical ways to use AI and how to encourage transparency. We can also use this to train teachers to better monitor student usage and detect breaches of AI ethics. So we said this is essential not only for defining what acceptable use is, but also for future educational policies as the AI further evolves. Thirdly, opposition might say that students will cheat even more, right? Again, this is a risk. This risk is marginal since there are already students using ChatGPT to write debate scripts, but will bite the bullet and say that initial stage of AI implementation might be rocky. The comparative is that these unethical cases gradually decrease in the long run when students become morally conscious of how they academically use AI, and for these reasons, we are more than proud to propose. Thank you.
Judge, in the current status quo, our education system stands on a crossroad. So, should we integrate AI education into the curriculum or maintain the status quo? It's not with that AI education is beneficial. And criteria. Firstly, educational awareness. I believe that AI education in school should be appropriate for the annual, to not create an unnecessary burden on students, teachers, and education. The Prime Minister was about honesty. Lost in their argument, because firstly it's about implementation challenges. So the government's argument about the necessity of AI education fails to address the significant implementation challenges it presents. The proposed integration of AI education into the curriculum would pose numerous implementation challenges. Teachers are already overloaded with their existing curriculum, and adding another subject would make it challenging to keep the curriculum up to date. So this would require significant investment of time, resources, and training, places and unnecessary burden on both teachers and students. And secondly, their second argument was about ethical use of AI. Even if we agree that government's argument on the ethical use of AI, we must consider the broader implications. If we say that government's right about ethical use of AI, their education is flawed, and here's why. Firstly, it's about job displacement. So the government's argument fails to consider the inevitable job displacement caused by integration of AI in education. While teaching students about AI's ethical use is essential, we must also address the potential job displacement it may cause. AI has a potential job and a potential to replace jobs, particularly in the education sector. By introducing AI education, we risk of replacing human teachers with AI systems, leading to the loss of job and decline in the quality of education. And yes, I'll
So you said that these people will replace jobs. However, we think that this is not true because firstly, in these like developing countries, right, the more schools need AI as like more teachers. So we said that this will be beneficial. How do you respond?
So yeah, it might be beneficial, but however, since AIs are, it's true that AIs are smart, but there are like humans who there are programs that can like kind of consider that, and also like their like rapid development posing like various technical and education challenges, and like we also have an alternative of teaching students how to use AI in a household, which is going to be much better because it matches the pace of individuals as well as be on the right kind of trend. And firstly, our first argument is about inappropriateness of for annual school classes. So AI's rapid development process of various technical and education challenges. Textbook and curriculums take around 4 years to update. This means they can't keep up with the quickly evolving trends in AI. Also, teachers would struggle to keep up with rapidly changing field of AI. We don't need to spend a significant amount of time researching and attending training sessions to stay up to date. Lastly, the budget needs to provide students with the right electronics for AI classes is enormous. Additionally, the budget required for the new textbooks and updated high-quality teachers should also be taken into the consideration. Judge, what would the impact? Adding AI education to the curriculum will place an unnecessary burden on students, teachers, and education budgets. Second argument is priority. Basic knowledge refers to a fundamental acquaintance with facts, truths, or principles. Consider the argument that AI is basic knowledge nowadays. It implies that it is something everybody knows how to do. The concern with teaching AI in school is that job discipline may occur, and particularly among education-related workers, AI technology has the potential to replace teachers. And prioritizing AI education could lead to job displacement, particularly in the AI sector. It may cause more harm. So, therefore, I'm really proud to propose in this debate. I'm opposing this.
So when team opposition fails to deny that students will need to use AI one day in the future, whether it be in college or the workplace, should be ranked the only way to do so, Judge. So now, before our last point on how AI democratizes the quality of education, some responses. They first tell us that there will be decreased funding in education because all teachers and resources will be replaced by AI, right? But we think that this is particularly untrue because there's still awareness that education is important, Judge. And politicians know that investing in the next generation is important for the preservation of the nation, and parents continue to vote for more educational reforms, right? Also, the motion provides public understanding that AI actually does not represent perfect replacement for general curriculums due to its limitations, and this is a cause and effect mismatch, right? AIs are partial to education, and Simply having more AIs will not lead to less resources. And also, the opposition is clearly misunderstanding the motion because teachers are still needed to teach students how to use AI in a specific subject. Like our first speaker has already told you, teachers are needed to teach AI on students and
You're
ensure
right.
ethically, right? Okay, I'll take that.
Were you not listening? Because the only reason why we said that teachers are going to be replaced is because when there's a rise of like the number of students that can actually use AIs, in the future, teachers will start fading away. Have you not been listening at all?
Okay, so first of all, teachers are clearly needed for students to be able to use AI, right? And second, we already told you that there's gonna be more more AI sectors, and this is also like I mentioned before. I think you're not listening to our speech. This is clearly a cause and effect mismatch, right? Because AIs are partial to education, and simply having more AIs does not mean that teachers are gonna lose their jobs, right? Because like we have clearly emphasized on our speech, with side opposition clearly disregarded and ignored, we are using AI as a learning tool and for students with disparities to use AI so that they're actually able to gain more resources and opportunities to succeed, right? So, Judge, in the long run, side opposition is literally not providing any opportunities for the poor. And not only do they only care about teachers, but we also think that the teachers will always
Why?
keep their job because teachers are still no, teachers are still needed to teach the students how to use AI in a specific subject. I'm sorry. And if AI is banned, like are unable to teach AI on the students, then AI will be used very unethically, right? Which is the burden that they have to prove that students are able to still use AI ethically because Judge, like we proved before, when they keep on talking about how there's gonna be a burden on students,
Point of
we told you
information.
that students are constantly using AI as a cheating tool, and it is necessary for teachers to emphasize that it should be used in an ethical way, right? And in our side, there's gonna be more check and balances, right? There's gonna be more transparency because teachers are able to see, and they have like these programs in AI to see if students are cheating. And Judge, we already told you and emphasized that AI is going to be prominent in the future, which side opposition is clearly ignoring, and that is why we need to implement this into our education system because AI is going to rise in the future and opposition can't do anything to prevent that, right? So moving on to our third argument about how AI standardizes the overall quality of education, right? So two problems with the current education system. First, students have unequal access to quality education based on their wealth or location. If you're from a poor family, you can't go to private academies like your rich peers. And if you're born in a rural area, your local school will not have expensive qualified teachers or curricula to help your academic prospects. Second, traditional teaching methods are one size fits all. Because of limited time and having to teach multiple students, teachers can't adjust the unique learning pace and style of different students, right? The kid not understanding basic algebra or the class genius that doesn't need to learn basics. But by incorporating AI into the curriculum, we reduce these disparities, right? And AI-powered platforms and tools are scalable and can be deployed across various settings at low cost, meaning that not only do we help the poor actually have more opportunities and lessen the rich and poor gap, side opposition clearly fails to make ethical usage of AI, and two impacts here. First, this enables the poor or rural students to receive the same level of tutoring and educational content. And second, AI-driven educational platforms can analyze performance in real time, right? And they can identify strengths and weaknesses, which some teachers are unable to do because AI is more accessible and convenient. For these reasons, we take the debate home. Thank you.
It's absolutely absurd for them to try to teach how to use AIs because they're digging their own graves into leading students to cheat and not being able to learn anything at all. Note that their knowledge made no sense. They argue that they're not teaching students how to cheat, but rather just generally teaching them how to use them. Let's compare the world to another example. If, for example, the school started teaching how to use guns and still said, we're just teaching students how to use them, not to kill anybody with it, wouldn't make sense. They're totally irresponsible for their acts. I'll be doing three main things in my speech, which personal clarification, second rebuttal the reason, and lastly presenting our team last argument. Very proud to oppose. Straight up going on to clarification. Straight up, the first thing they told us is that everyone now is educated how to use calculators at school, which is sweeping generalization. And starting from the beginning, they're flawed and therefore we win. They also show no proper response to our POI on don't you think that AI is a trend that arrived really fast, meaning that it will also sweep up really fast? It's just not right to change the entire curriculum just because of a simple trend. We say this is really true because one, educational curriculums is supposed to be able to give general information over at least a few decades, and we say that changing the curriculum for a simple trend is really inappropriate. And second of all, even if they are really charitable, they pursue an observer world because changing the educational curriculum to fit into the speed of educational isn't even feasible in the first place because it just develops too fast. This textbook is created, since that will just update it. change because we say there's no clear line in teaching them how to cheat and other ways. Moving on to rebuttals and rebuilds. Our first argument was how it's inappropriate, and they said that teachers are needed to teach AI. They're committing the logical fallacy of argumentum ad nauseum and repeating the same statement with no methodism at all. We told them that gradually teachers are going to be replaced, not that they're not needed for AI, they're not listening at all. They also didn't exactly engage with their second argument. Their last argument was about how there's unequal access. On that point, that seems to be more of a problem on their side of the house because they also push a world where not everyone's able to access the education due to the lack of technological devices at school because they lack money. Also, like not everyone has technology at home.
UI.
Also mentioned how teachers don't need to match the pace of teaching because they have AI. This seems to be a clear contradiction because they said that teachers are not going to be replaced. Then they straight up say that teachers are going to be replaced by AIs by using them as a curriculum tool. Now let's accept the POI.
Wait, so basically you say that like AI is like just a trend, but then we think that AI is not a trend because if you look into YouTube, there's so much AI algorithms and there's AI is becoming more prominent in society. So we think that that's a very big logical fallacy.
That does not make sense at all because AI clearly is a trend. Because since when did it arrive? Like 2023, and now it is it's like really famous right now. I mean, it's clearly a trend because otherwise it wouldn't be so famous, right? So lastly, introducing our last about adverse effects for other subjects. What is the main problem that education curriculum and society have been facing since the rise of AI? Note that the entire issue was always about cheating in schools and assignments by using AI like ChatGPT. Their side is clearly digging a grave for themselves. Why is this so tied related to the motion? Obviously, what the government side of the house is doing is heading their own taking their own graves. I'll explain why is this harmful on their side of the house with 4 layers of analysis. 1, dependency. Say that there's a kid named Bob and he learns how to use AI as taught in school. He learns that he can ask simple questions and generate answers using it. And because he has enough brain cells, he figures, oh, I can ask, hey, AI, can you generate me an answer on the essay for my school on the structure of the earth? This will lead to inability to critically think as well as gain problem solving skills. Secondly, limited understanding how there's going to be shallow understanding of a concept with no proper learning. Thirdly, homogenization on the content and ethical concerns. Because AI is created by a single group of organization on a single database, it will have a single view of bias, meaning that by using AI, students will have a homogenized view. Fourthly, emphasis on efficiency, not to develop skills which will result in not being able to develop skills such as patience and resilience from failure because AI is perfect. Secondly, there will also be decreased attention span, which is because it's really fast. And lastly, there will be loss of serendipity because there are a lot of innovations that are found through mistakes and serendipity, such as post-it notes, which were originally supposed to be a really strong glue. However, in their world where no one makes mistakes through AIs, this never happens, and therefore I've never been prouder to stand on the opposites of bench. Thank you.
Judge, opposition failed in this debate because they assume that AI is just a trend that will come and go, right? We say that looking back at history, things like calculators, things like computers, they were all considered a trend, but nowadays we use it in our everyday lives, right? And because of this, we say that their whole biggest mechanism on why it's actually unnecessary to teach AI in schools actually fails, right? But furthermore, why do we win this debate, right? 2 classes to prove why we win. First of all, is AI necessary in schools, right? The proposition argues that first of all, there are more important things that students should learn in school, right? For example, like PE, English, math, language, history, etc., right? First of all, Judge, we say that this is untrue because as our Prime Minister already mentioned, the purpose of schools is to help students become functioning members of society. And if it is evident that AI will be a prominent part of the workplace in the future, then it is also the job of schools to educate students of AIs, right? Secondly, though, we say that history has once again already proved that it's actually reliable, right? This argument applied to schools 15 years ago when schools were considering teaching computers as a part of the curriculum, right? Computers are now a very important part of everyday life, and the schools provide a wide range of computer education, right? And we say that this logic should also be applicable to AI. No, thank you. The AI education we support isn't making every student use AI on a vocational level, but we're just teaching them how to use it on a basic level while also teaching them the ethics of AI, right? This type of curriculum can also be taught by like training instructors, like we said in my model. But if this is the case, every computer class should require a Google engineer or Microsoft
Point of information.
boarding, no thank you, or already teaching basic skills like PowerPoints to students very well, right? Moreover, though, we say that this harm is not exclusive because like under their model, instead of like teaching AI, they're probably gonna teach like the next new thing, right? And we say that the same harm will apply there, right? Moreover, though, we say it's better on our side because opposition has a rigid view of education, right? Using AI to translate foreign no, thank you. Help students more easily communicate and learn about different cultures, right? Also, we already implement calculators for basic equations, which allows students to deal with more advanced mathematical concepts. So AI can provide like efficiency so students can take the next step in academics. So we say that it's necessary. Now second class, which side is better for the teachers and students, right? So proposition argues that Like
Can
having this,
I?
actually, no, I'll take it.
So do you think that teachers getting replaced, which you have previously agreed to, because you said that AIs are going to be much more effective in teaching individual students following their
No, I never agreed that teachers will be replaced.
more
But
effective
second
than
of all, I'm gonna just prove why. I'm gonna prove in my second class that how teachers will not be replaced. So please listen, okay? So second class, proposition argues that this could be burden for teachers and students, right? Think that teachers will lose their jobs, right? First of all, the opposition team should should read the motion, right? This debate is not whether teachers should be replaced by AIs. It is simply the discussion of whether schools should teach students about usage. Thus, this argument is irrelevant, right? Moreover, we say that teachers are necessary in teaching students about AI, right? We say that AI can't teach students how to use AI properly, right? We said this will use to more unethical AI usage. Moreover, though, we say that besides this point, teachers have roles that AI cannot replace, such as spiritual support or disciplining students, right? We say that AI can't punish a student if they do something bad, right? So schools have no incentive to suddenly fire all the teachers, right? Furthermore, we say that in developing countries, there is a severe lack of teachers. So we say that AI learning in schools can be actually beneficial, right? Schools can use that for more teachers, and at the end of the day, there will be a much better school learning environment. And we say that this is targeted towards these students. So we say that it's not gonna be a burden for these students, but rather a benefit for these students. And we prove how teachers will not lose their jobs, right? Then why is it worse on their side? We say that it's actually worse on their side because under their model, students don't know how to use AI properly, right? So we say that this is gonna lead to unethical usage of AI, right? And they provide no analysis on how these students under their model will be able to use AI, and they won't cheat with AI all of a sudden, right? And before I end my speech, let me give you a comparative, Judge. So, Judge, even if what they say is true, we say that in the short term, in the short term, harm. We have the harm of adjusting to an AI-based education, right? But in the long term, we have a long-term sustainable model of introducing AI unique assignments and evaluation, and that is why we take this debate home so proud to propose.
Two questions in this debate, Judge. One, which side provides an efficient method of studying for children? Two, which side prepares students for the future? But before that, rebuttals. A, we'll start here and say that this has been a very dirty and parallel debate. Apparently, the proposition here has asked one thing: read the motion. But the motion they want us to read is this. This has to ban AI technology. But actually, this has believed students should be taught how to use AI. We hope that at least now the proposition understands the real motion. B, direct quote from the DPM. Teachers are needed to teach students how to use AI. Yes, then the only teacher will exist is only a teacher who teaches AIs at school. How about math, science, history teachers? How about critical thinking? See, trend. A trend means a general flow of things such as technology or fashion, which is only temporarily. Let's compare computer and AI. It is not and never going to be the same. While computers are only something that we use for our convenience, AIs replace us. Wake up. Also there's contradiction because they said teachers are not going to be replaced, but then they admitted that it will later. They talk about the developing country because they don't have enough teachers. What? This is a more serious problem of providing technology for AI learning rather than getting enough people. They tell us that motion is not about rather teachers going to be replaced or not. What? The motion is about implying AI education to schools, and we have simply presented a harm to the stakeholder, the teacher, on their side of the house. Now going on to the clashes. First clash, where to provide an efficient method of learning for children that this includes the subject about cheating. AI is in our lives now. Everybody uses it. Of course, it would be great if they use it in a good way, but what if they don't? It would be easier for students to use AIs for essays, homework, and there won't be anything for the teachers to even control it. After the teacher catches them using AI when they shouldn't, what do they say? Well, we learned how to do this at school. This is the exact adverse effect mentioned by our deal. This is the opposition's stance regarding this clash. But how would the proposition respond to this clash? The only response that they give is, yay, we are teaching students how to apply AI into academics, not how to cheat with it. I would like to show you how both their statements do not stand. There are diverse teenagers who smoke. Do teachers tell them that smoking is good? Do they tell that smoking is okay? They emphasize how bad it is, but they still smoke. Same with AI. How will you detect it? Are children living in a utopian world where they do everything the teachers tell them to? How will you make a world with the ethical use of AI? It won't just work by just emphasizing. Also provided by Jimin. The whole point that the proposition is talking about here is that people can rely on AI technology and don't learn necessary things such as math, science, or whatever, and just focus on AI somehow ethically, which will do these things for us. But there's a huge flaw here. Why do we learn about math and science in the first place when we don't use stuff such as integral, square root, or physics in our daily life? The actual purpose of it is to increase critical thinking. The world revolves with critical thinking. Inventions would not exist without critical thinking in the first place. AI itself would not have been made without critical thinking. How would AI be developed in future years is without critical thinking, which is located in school education. Technology will just stay the same, and if something goes wrong with the programming and the major AI, there will be no ways to fix it. Catastrophic. The proposition wants to make the world stay the same as it is now, or even a worse state, by eliminating the crucial chance for students to learn critical thinking, which can only happen during young ages. They say that we have a rigid view of education. Calculators provide a chance for students to conveniently learn math because they already know how to do plus and minus, and what they want to learn is how to use this with critical thinking. Now, going on to question 2, which are prepared students for the future? This was the main push made by the proposition regarding the following trends. In the future, there is AI all around us, so we should learn how to use them. This was their stay. And main 3 flaws here. Even now, ChatGPT gives us great answers even if we ask stuff in stupid ways. And in the future, AI technology gets more and more better. AI will be so easy to use. Initially, the purpose of AI is to make our life easier and make it convenient to access technology. Why learn how to use AI when it's so easy right now? Even if we are so generous here and say that people can learn programming, which is perfectly useful, but why do you need to learn how to type something well in order for AI to understand with whatever foolish purpose? So the whole language just does not completely make sense. See, trend. Yes, you need to follow the trend for the future, but how fast is the trend? AI, as such as ChatGPT, has improved so much over these years, and textbooks take more than 4 years to create and get approved. Trend changes. Trends can't be followed anyways. Yes, it is a rapidly moving world, but the education the school can't provide can't follow it. We will use the evidence that Professor mentioned here in order to support ours here, Judge. They said that instead of searching in Google, gathering information, you can now just ask AI something that may respond really well. A, you forget easily. B, you don't know how to phrase stuff. 2, detrimental stuff. They also never engage with all of our main points of cheating. Thank you.
Judge, even if we say what the government said have argued for the last 20 minutes correct, we like our side has a better word. Because why? Because why did the op lose? First thing, they never engaged with our main point of cheating. This was our main push, but because they never rebutted this, we totally went over today's debate because they have no way to prevent this and actually further harm the students. Secondly, they also live in a utopian world where in developing countries they can solve the issue for lack of teachers by using AIs. This makes no sense at all because this country's lack life for this technology. And since now we provide proposition never prepares students for their future by eliminating their chance to learn critical thinking and backlash, we will show how our world will look like. So that Judge, you'll be able to wait stuff out. Students will be able to use AI when they are allowed to use it, and AI technology will improve so that there isn't a need to learn how to use it. Instead of this, students learn how to program AI, develop it, and computer usage, a much better world. And moving on to my comparison of major clashes, government versus opposition. So the government's main clash was about necessity of education and the impacts were necessary like students' knowledge and skills, making them more competitive in the job market. And they also talked about ethical usage, like ensuring that AI is used responsibly and ethically. And our opposition's major clashes about implementation would lead to chaos, a decline in education quality, and income disparities among schools. And displacement of education-related workers leading to a decline in job opportunities, but how the opposition wins all clashes. Firstly, necessity of AI education versus inappropriateness of regular school cases. So even the government's best case scenario is achieved, the opposite worst case scenario is. Here's why. Firstly, budget constraints and economic disparities. And opposite worst case scenario, which was despite the opposition, at first AI education implemented leading to chaos, a decline in education quality and economic disparities among schools. However, their best case is the successful integration of AI education significantly enhances students' knowledge. However, the opposite worst case scenario, the implementation of AI education exacerbate economic disparities, leading to chaos and leaving students ill-prepared for the job market. However, even the best case scenario proposed by the government fails to address the significant drawbacks of implementing AI education, particularly in the economic burden, and they will never engage in we heard no response to our major key points. The financial strains resulting from AI education, as highlighted in the opposite worst case scenario, would have a profound impact, causing economic disparities and chaos in the education system. And also, the opposite worst case scenario, the implementation of AI education results in the displacement of education-related workers, leading to a decline in job opportunities. And even the best case of the government is achieved. The adverse effects on the economy and education system, as outlined in the opposite worst case scenario, overshadow any potential benefits. And Judge, what have I done into the speed? Firstly, I had compared the worst and best case scenario and also the major clashes, and secondly, I explained why we won this major clashes in debate. Therefore, I'm really proud to oppose this debate, and therefore that's why we won.
Speaker, at the end of the day, opposition loses the debate because they fail to prove why their models actually be beneficial for the teachers and how students will have a better future, right? On their side, students get to Harvard with cheating from AI. So what is our burden? On the other hand, we've shown you that students will be benefited from this model and AI will be used ethically, right? And that is what you have been emphasizing and our opposition has been ignoring, right? So what is the overall assessment? Hence, opposition loses as they do not care about the students and simply say that AI is a trend, right? So what is the clarification here? Why is AI likely to be in the future, Judge? In the status quo, there is a lot of AI development and people use AI both in work and just in their daily life to do basic tasks. And therefore, it is evident that in the future, society will be further reliant on AI. So two key issues in this debate and why we take both. Issue one, the necessity of AI and justification. Opposition only tells us that AI is a trend. However, AI is so prominent in our current society right this moment, right? AI is going to develop and become even more necessary in the future and vital, just like how a calculator and computers are also going to integrate it into education, right? Judge, think about it. There's technology class in school, right? In math, you learn how to use a calculator. You learn how to use the different functions in a calculator, and you also learn how to actively and better use the computer, right? Why is this? It is because these technological innovations are become more and more prominent in our society, and no matter what opposition argues, they cannot defeat the fact that AI is not going to become more prominent in the future, which is why we justify that it is necessary to teach AI to students in a more ethical way and how to use it more ethically, which we have been emphasizing throughout the debate, right? So what is the second issue? Which side provides better education? They only tell us that teachers are going to be replaced and that AI learning will be limit the amount of learning for other students, right? However, we think that they're not. Teachers are needed to teach students how to use AI in a specific subject, and AI is simply a learning tool, and that learning tool that AI is what we have constantly emphasized and they have ignored, right? And we think that teachers are not going to be like replaced because there's still awareness that education is important, and we told you that politicians know that investing in the next generation is important for the preservation of the nation, and parents will continue to vote for more educational reforms, and also the motion provides public understanding that AI actually is not the perfect replacement for general curriculums due to its limitations, right? So please listen, opposition and judge. We think that AI is a learning tool at the end of the day, and we also promote ethical usage, which they don't, right? Because judge, think about it, AI still exists on opposition side, right? Because AI has become more and more developed, people are still gonna use ChatGPT, right? However, what's lacking on their side? So what is the comparative? We have ethical usage of AI. Students actually know how to use it well instead of cheating. Their site is literally full of cheaters who go to good universities literally by using ChatGPT, and they do not know how to use it well, right? They do not know how to use it in a more in a sense of integrity, which means that there's going to be less societal development and there's going to be less students becoming actually a deserving student, and actually like there's going to be less like benefits for the student in the future because all they do is cheat. And that is why we take both issues where we help create better ethical usage and while creating a better students in the long run, and more than proud to propose.